Hello everyone, welcome to the final section of this tutorial. That is, we'll try one real-time e-commerce project. Now, because you have gone through this much of topics, you have learned a lot of things here. So now it's time to apply them all together here. Now, also I said in the beginning of my video, I said like when I'll be doing a real-time project, there I'll be using the graphs too. So it's the best place to use it. So basically, I'm taking an e-commerce project where I will analyze the reports of these three things. First, calculate monthly sales, calculate highest and lowest sales based on month, calculate highest and lowest sales based on product categories, calculate monthly profit of sales and determine the profit monthly, analyze sales profit by customer segments, and analyze the sales to profit ratio. So basically, we are going to analyze a report. Now, what we have right now is this is my Excel sheet. And in this Excel sheet, this is a Superstore Excel sheet. Now, if you see the fields here, order ID, SIP ID, customer name, segments, country, states, postal code, everything. Like at last you have sales, quantity, discount, and profit. So now out of these data, these many data, and if you'll see how much of data this is, so it's like just if I bring it to the last, so altogether you have 9,995 data. So it's like you have somewhere around 9,000 or 10,000 data, and out of these 10,000 data report, this is an Excel sheet, 10,000 data are mentioned here. And out of these 10,000 data, what I have to do is I have to take this, calculate the monthly sales, highest and lowest sales based on month, highest and lowest sales based on products. We have to do all of this. I just will go through this first exercise. Now, in this project session, how I'll keep things is mostly I'll be typing and I'll expect you to think for a minute and then we'll go for output. So it's like I'll go slow and steady, but I'll make things more interactive as much as possible. So at least you can think what you're doing. So straight away, first I will add, sorry, let me remove this launcher from here. And let me add that sample data from here. Where is that sample data? Sample Superstore data. Cool. I've added this sample Superstore data that is in CSV file. So this is added here. Let me rename it as sample store. That will be easy for me. Store sample. Give a proper name. Just go through this complete thing slowly and steady. Like you'll feel like whatever you have learned, everything is coming out and you'll get an idea. So the first thing here is I do import. Sorry, I'll do import. And I'll write import pandas as PD. That is the first thing. Now, after this, what will be the next line? So the next line will be once we have import pandas, this is like we used to do the very first thing. Now here we need to import the plotty libraries too that will help us to create the graphs. But those plotty I'll talk about later and I'll import them later. Like I've import panda. Let me do this. In next line, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the CSV file. So I'll write data is equals to pd dot read CSV. And in this CSV, I'll pass store sample dot CSV. That's one thing. So I'll pass this. Apart from this, I'll pass encoding. Now this we have not done before, so we are doing it for the first time because we have large number of data. So I'm doing this encoding is equals to Latin -1. Now you'd be thinking, what is this encoding Latin -1? So I'll tell you what is this for. So right now I'll just do data.head. Now why I'm using data.head is because I have 9,000 of data. If I print 9,000 of data, whole of my screen will just fill with that. So instead of printing all data, I'm using print.head because I have to just go through the columns and I'm just picking the first few fields. So when I do data.head and run this, so basically it will give me the first 5 datas from the complete column. Now, first thing, why we use this encoded is equals to Latin 1. So it's like when you have some unwanted spaces like this dash sign, the underscore sign. So it's like basically different expressions. Just to avoid this, we are using this encoding is equals to Latin. So when I'll take this value, these spaces, these things will be avoided. So that's why we write encoding is equals to Latin dash 1. So basically these type of spaces, these will be not, basically you can ignore these things when you are writing your code, or basically when you're fetching the data. That's why we use Latin. Now, what's my test case here? It's like calculate monthly sell. Now, this is my monthly sell section. This is my sell section. So here, basically through this cells, from this field, I will get the data of how much sell, but it's saying monthly sell. So for monthly sell, you need to go through data month wise, is it? What I mean by month wise is, so for to get the data monthly, you need to go month wise, means you need to have the data of basically what type of data. You need to have the order date, the ship date. So based on this order date and ship date, like based on this order date and the shipping date, I'll be able to get the monthly record, like the months. I'll be easily able to figure it out that, okay, I'm getting the date for this particular month, I'm getting the data. So what things are required from this column? See, when we are working on this data analysis, the most important thing is we need to know that in basically which columns are required or which columns we have to use for this. We have to know it very clearly. So like here, once I get the order date and the ship date, so out of this, I can easily track, or I can easily break the month, the dates, the month, and year columns. All three we can break it, and we can put it separately, and accordingly, like all the data that's basically with the month as 8. The 8-month data, we'll have it at one place. We can group all the data at one place. Just I'm doing an overview. It's like I'm not writing. We'll be doing this, but I'm giving you an idea that how you'll be thinking when you come across a real-time project, how basically you'll think about it, how you will proceed to the project. The main doubt for everyone is like, okay, they know that, okay, we need to write codes, we need to do this. But when the requirement comes, they get confused that how to proceed, how to go through these steps, how to write, how to think basically that what we have to do. So as it was clear to me just by reading the data that we have to calculate monthly cells. I have to just calculate my monthly cell. That means the cells, that monthly cell, whatever my month cell is, I have to calculate that. So to calculate monthly cells, what is required? First, we need a sales column. That's good. Now, when it's talking about month, so which month the order was done, which date the order was done, which year the order was done. So from that 2016, we will first break this, the order and ship dates. Based on this, we will break the dates, the months, and the year sections. So when I break this, based on these different columns, I will get the values of my sales. You got it? This is how it's working. So we'll proceed accordingly. This is how we'll plan things. So for right now, what I said, for this monthly sales, I need first the sales column. Then I need this order date, ship date. From this, I will break it to month columns, and then I'll proceed accordingly. So let's start in this way. So the first thing what we'll be doing here is, now, first let's get the record of how much columns are basically, how many rows are there. So it's for that you can take the info. First, let's take the info, or like we'll take the info. It's like we need to understand that all these columns, whichever are like these columns are defined, what are the objects, or basically, if you talk about these columns, um, what are the data types of this column. So what I'm going to do here is I'll write data dot info. So when I do data dot info, so it says row ID is in type, order ID is in type, order date is an object type. How can we order date object type? Because if I'm using object type, I can't track the datas. So order date, ship date, this would be in proper format. It should be in date format. That's what I said. It's very necessary that we go through the data types. So from there, we get an idea that in which format the datas are. So when I went through the objects, when I went through the info, then I got to know that data type has these data types are object. So the very first thing that I will do is I will change the data type of these two sections. That's the very first thing I'll be doing. So how? Now you remember in our first, or I remember in the third lecture, I was talking about data frames, and there I told you how to convert the date time. So just think about it. There is a method that you can convert that can convert the data type. So we'll apply that here. So I say data. What's the name of my column? Order date. I take that, pass down here, order date. Meanwhile, I'm writing this. You can just think in your mind that what we are applying. If you are following my videos, then I guess this will not be that difficult for you because there is a method that's called to underscore date time. To underscore. There I did errors and then I showed you that why I'm getting errors and what's exactly required. So this is the one thing that's required here is that is I have to change the object of this. So I'm changing the object of this. So date, now this object of date time will change into basically the object that is in form of object that will change into date time. I'm doing this for order date and the same thing I'll do for the next one that is ship date. So these two is required and these two is changed here. Cool. These two. Now this will convert our date format. Let's do enter. And again write data.info. Now when I write data.info, see the data type is changed. So that's why if you have not watched my old videos, you can go and watch it there. You see what exactly we are doing in that section. Or basically in the it's the third lecture, I guess, where we're talking about data frames. There I've applied this. So I told you like everything will be what we have already studied. Just we are doing it at bigger level, and you'll find things so easy. It's not that difficult like it looks. Like data analysis is just like it's a thought that oh, it's too much things to do, too much things to learn. No, it's the just basics, you can easily apply on it. That's all about it. Okay, now the date is converted. Now what I have to do? As I said, I have to add new date based column. So out of these columns, which I have, I'm going to add three more columns. What for? So out of this date, order date and ship date through this, basically from order date, I will take out the which day the date order was done. Basically, you'll get the sales from there itself. So from order date, I will break the date format into three forms, that is month, year, and week. So in three formats, I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new column. So to create a new column, I'll name it as order month. Great. This I'm creating a new column. So I've given the name as date and order month. You see there is no column name as order month. So I've given the name as order month. And in this order month, what I'm doing, already my order date is converted into date format. So I do data, whatever the data is, data. And here I say order, what's the name? Order date. That's the name. Great. So pass this order date here. Good one. Now what's next? Once the order date is passed, then out of this order date, what I'm trying to track, I'm trying to track the month. So just write dt dot month. So when you write dt dot month, basically this will give you the month value. So from this value, from this data, it will pick in order date. From this, it will pick only the month value. Similarly, if you want to track what happened. No, I have to come here, gets back here. Okay. Similarly, you want to track data. Now I'm creating one column for year. I need to have the year too, in which year basically the data is converted. Data, sorry, it should be order date. So data from order date. Now I'll try to fetch the data based on year. So now this is for year. This will give us year. Now again, I will do. Now I'll create one more column and name that column as order by week. Cool. And here I'll say data, the order date is basically the column. And from here, I'll say dt dot day of week. Okay. Day of week. So a day of week, now I'm doing this. So now 3 different columns are created. One will take month out, one will take year out, and one will take the week out. These 3 values, you will have it. Now just let me run this, sorry. And just to check that is these 3 columns created. So I'll do one thing, df dot head, and what happened? Sorry, it's data dot head. I have habit of writing df, so I'm writing it df every time. It's df data dot head. Now, if you see, the columns are added because before when I was tracking the data here, you see the columns, a size was like 5 into 21 columns. Now the size is 5 into 24 columns. That means 3 more columns are added. Let me see that. Great. Order month, order year, order by week. These 3 are here. Now, what's the beauty here? Order month, it gives all the months here. So out of this, if out of these datas, from this data, like the order date 2016 11/08. So here from here, it takes the month out, year out, and week. It's the first week data. So from the first week, because basically it comes inside the first week, so it's like taking the first week data. So based on weeks, it's taking the week data 2 out. Okay. And what I've used here is cool. Now again, if you check the info, data dot info, when you check this, so here basically right now here, these details, it shows the detail columns here. Now I've added 3 because that's not updated. So it's not showing that 3 columns, but you have those columns there. So now these columns are here. Once we have this, now straight away we can do one thing is we can proceed getting the month analysis. So what I said, what my requirements are. So first is calculate monthly sales, calculate highest and lowest sales based on month, and then calculate highest and lowest sales based on product details. So first I'm doing monthly sales. So for monthly sales, now what I need. So just by seeing this table, I guess where it is, just by seeing this table, it's quite clear for monthly sale. Now the most important column for you is this one, order month, because this will give you the monthly sale. So the most important column for you here is order month. Now from order month, I will focus on sales. That in order month, what is the sales? And then I'll try to do sum of all the sales. So let's do this. Let's group this. So here we need to work with two columns. One is sales and other one is order month. Now, when you are trying to work with two different columns together, then in that case, we use group by. I guess you know about it. When you are working with two columns together, we use group by. Now, how I'll use the group by here, we'll see that too. So I'll write here, I'll define a new variable as sales by month. And here I say is equals to data dot group by, and which two columns we want to group, order month, that's one, and the next one as sales. So we'll mention it as sales. I guess it's quite clear. What I'm going to do is dot sum. I'm going to do the sum of these two, and I'll do reset index because I have to print these two tables, order and sales. I'll do the sum of cells. Basically, I'm printing this, grouping these two. Now I'll do reset underscore index. Great. And I say sales by month. What happened here? Order month. What it says? Now let me check the name. Is it the same name? Order month. Yeah, I guess it's the same one. Okay, let me check for a minute. Now everything is good here. Just I did date.info, so that was something that was not required, but still I removed that. Now I've run everything again, like I have everything. We have this, we have all the columns, everything here. Now what I'm doing here is basically I said we are looking for the sales per month. So we are trying to group order month and sales together. We are trying to do the sum of that, and we are giving the index. So you see the index are by default provided 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 11, 12. So that means it's for 12 month. The first month order, and it gives, this is the sales of the first month. This is the sales of first month. This is the sales of second month. This is the sales of third month. And altogether, we have sales of 15 months, basically 12 months. That's a year sales month. Now, what we did here, we grouped order month column with sales, and we did sum of that. So all the order, basically the common months brought here, like all, like here from this data, what exactly is happening is all from this particular data, all the values with the month 8. So it tracks all the 8-month values. It takes the cells of every 8-month values. It does the sum of it, and it prints me here. That's what is printed. And that's how it looks like, basically. So here, the month, basically the order month and cells, we have got the sum of this. But if I ask you that track, or just tell me that which month has the highest cell, which month has the lowest cell, can you tell me from here easily? Now for that, you have to go and read the value one by one, that, oh, this one is the maximum. Now you can get the maximum value. Obviously, you can get from here the max value. you can get the max value. It gives this max value. Order month is 12th month. You have got the maximum value. So it's like in this month. But if I want to keep a record of what I want to keep record, like which month my sell is high, which month my sell is low, just like if I want to keep the track of this thing. So when I get this value, sales month, so though when I go through deeply, when I read it deeply, then I'll be able to figure it out that, okay, this month I have highest sell, this month I have lowest sell. I can figure it out. But if I'm using Panda, let's make our task more easier and more simpler. Now, how you can do that? It's very easy. Now here comes the plotting and the graph thing. So now here we'll be using the plot and the graph thing. So what we are going to do is we are going to import, basically we will import a library that's called as plotly dot. Inside plotly you have one as express. Now you'll say that you have not talked about plotly in any of your tutorial. So it's like this is just a library and you need to know that which library to use and what, just like Panda was a library and we just know that, okay, so here we are using library. Based on that library, basically now no module plotly. Now this is the problem when you add and this thing randomly. So instead of that, I'll create a new file and here itself I'll try to add. But the thing is that usually you will have problems with this when you are working with this in Jupyter. Like Plotly is not that available. I've experienced this before too. So in this case, I would say like if it's not working or if it's not going properly, then in this case, I would say that you can move to your PyCharm there. You can install this Plotly straight away and then use it there. Right now, I guess it's not giving any error. So we can use it. So I'll use Plotly. Now that was for now yeah, again it's giving error. So now here sometimes in Jupyter you will have problems. So I would say why don't you go for PyCharm? If you are using, basically you have a platform as PyCharm where you are using your where you're writing the Python projects. So instead of using Jupyter now, I would like to use here a PyCharm. So I've already opened my PyCharm here and this is my PyCharm. And here I'm going to create a project. Cool. Now here I'm going to create a new project, which I can name it as practice e-commerce project. New window. Now, before in Jupyter, this was available or you used to, but in some cases you'll have problem. So it's better to avoid all these problems. We will use PyCharm. Now, if you're doing, or you can use any of your IDE that you are using. I'm using PyCharm. If you are using any, if you're using some other, you can apply on, you can do on that platform. Here, basically, it becomes easy. And if you have gone through my Python videos, there I have shown how to install the PyCharms and Python. So you can straight away have it from there too. Now, what I have to do is like I have to configure the projects. Like first thing is I have to add that CSV file here, the sample project CSV file that we added in that case. So I'll copy that CSV file and paste it here straight away. I'll name it as e-commerce or store sample. Cool. Now this is the file that we have. Now I'll put all the codes here one by one, so don't worry. So here it's very simple. I'll just go right click and create a new Python file and name this file as sales.py. Cool. Now, as usual, I'll import. Now, the best thing here is why I go for this PyCharm is like when I write something, I get things in hint. Like Panda, it's something that I'm using. Straight away, it gives install package Panda. It's installing Panda in my system. So basically, it's taking some time. It will install Panda. So just let's wait for a few seconds. So if you have not followed these steps or if you have not seen, so basically I'm using the PyCharm now here. I just went to this PyCharm. I created a new project, and in this new project, I named the project. After naming the project, I added this sample store.csv file to my project so that I can use it. Once that's done, I created a file, a Python file with name sales.py. And here I write import panda as PD. So basically the panda is imported. Now I want to import what I was talking about is import plotly. That was not available there in Jupyter. So I can open the Jupyter place. So here plotly.express. So first I'm doing plotly.express as px. I'm giving a name. Now here I have to install this package. So here you see it allows you to install this package plotly2. So now you have installed plotly, you have installed pandas. Now you are installing plotly. So basically we are installing, now we will import first whatever is required for this plotly. First we'll import that and then we'll start using it. So first one is express. So basically this is for this the first one plotly.express. This is for data visualization library. Basically this is for data visualization library, like we can visualize data easily. It's that for. So I'm just writing in comments here the description. So the first one is for data visualization. Now wait for this plotly to install. It will take some time and it will install straight away. So you will have many more options, like you'll be doing graph objects. So just to show the graphical description, customized graph, just like to show the customized graph. Again, you will have plotly.io, that's input output, that will show the templates. So if you want to change the templates, you'll be using IO. If you want to add colors, then in that case, you'll be using colors. In Plotly, it provides. Again, if you want a default template, that is a white Plotly template, so it will provide you that also. So you have to mention all this in import line. So first one is for this. Second one is Graphly objects as. So here I'll say, second one here is for graph objects. This is for graphical expression, graph objects. Now you see, once the library is installed, you get the options in hints too. That's the best thing about PyCharm. First, I thought like I should write everything in PyCharm, but again, in Jupyter, it was good. Like the same things were printed over there. So it was making things easier. This is for graphical visual. Now, next one is, again, I do import plotly dot. Now, what I'm going to import this time for is IO, import.io or import.io. Now, this one is as, I'll import it as plotly this. Okay. Now, this I've given a name. Okay. The next thing here is, this is a graphical, this is for graph template. Graph templates. Cool. Now the next one is colors. So I say import. I have to import all of them one by one. Like you can't skip anything. So to use them personally, you have to import, like you have to import specific one. So this one is for colors. So as plotly as colors. Okay, this will give you the colors. Now, using this py, I'll put a default content template. That will be a template dot default, and that will be, I'll keep a default template as plotly white. So the graphical representation will be in the graph will be in white format. Cool. Now this is done. Now, instead of writing the steps again and again, what I can do is I can copy the steps from here itself and put it. So you will get an idea that, okay, whatever we have done before, it's fine. It's nothing different. So here, now store sample. Here the store is in smaller. Cool. This is for head. Now, again, if you want for info, now this was basically I wanted this description. The next one, this is important. So I'll pick this and paste it here where I'm trying to convert. Here I'm trying to convert the data type of date. Now, once this converted, then what we'll do grouping. So what we are doing is we are trying to group the data of, okay, first we will break the date in month, year, and week format in these three formats. So for that also I've written the code before, so I'm not going to write it again. Instead, I'll copy it from here straight away and paste it here. Cool. Now this is for this. Now after this, again, we are doing the grouping the data. So grouping the data and sales to find the month sale. So it will be like group data for month sales. So for that, I'm doing this. Now straight away, this is not Jupyter. So to print something, you have to write this way. Inside the print statement, you have to pass this. Now, just to run this, I do run. Let me see everything is working fine. So I want that table where I have grouped by order and sales. In fact, that's I'm having. Now what? So from here, I'm trying to create a graphical representation. So for graphical representation, what you will be doing? So for graphical representation, you have to do a small thing, that is just remove this print line for the timing. Define a variable as figure is equals to take px. What's that for? Data visualization. Px is the name that I've given for data visualization. So I'll say px dot and I'll call the method as line. Now I want to print it in form of line. So when you print the data as in form of line, so one will be sales by month. Basically, I'm going to print this sales by month, and the orders we have to define. What will be my X order? So X order will always be my order month. Basically, in X-axis, we will have the order month. X-axis, that means the bottom one, the straight line, and the vertical one. So basically, that will be Y-axis, and for that, the value will be sales. Cool. Now, if you want to give a title to this, you can give the title too. Okay, you have to give comma here as well. Cool. Now you can give a title to this graphical representation. So the title will be like monthly sales analysis. Cool. This is what we have to write. So first, I want the graphical representation in form of line. And what's sales for month? Basically, this is the one that has the complete data, which is grouped by and which is sum. So everything. Now I want to represent this x-axis as for of order a month and y-axis as sales, and title of this I'm giving this. So this is the description that I'm providing to design a graph. Now, once this is done, I need to just do fig.show. Done. Now, after this, you have to just run your code. The code will run. and I'll show you. You see a new graph is created here. This is monthly sales analysis, the title. This is y-axis, my sales, and this is the order month. Now just look into it, how beautiful it looks. Now straight away, like I can say in the first month, the monthly sales was 1000K, 100K. Next month it was lesser, it declined. Again, the next month it increased. Again, the next month it declined. Again, it remained stable. Again, it increased. So highest it was on 11th month, that was 352.4611K, the sales was. So basically, this graph tells you a complete description of your monthly sales. So you get a monthly sales analysis and you see how easy it is for you. It's very simple. Just what you have to do is you know what to group, what not to group. And see, when you see this graph, it looks so beautiful. It makes your job so easy. So that's what we are working for. So we wanted this report. That's what we got. And this is how it looks like. So I hope this section is quite clear. You have understood this. Now we'll go with the second one. Like I said, we have different sections to do. Now the next one was for, what was my next test case? Calculate highest and lowest sales based on month. Now this one you can try, I guess. You can create the highest sales and lowest sales. Like if you see in this report itself, in the chart report itself, you got the highest and lowest sales based on month. So these two is covered. Now highest and lowest sales based on product category. Now I'm doing one more for you. And then you can try the less test cases on your own, or else like if I'll see if it's required, I'll do. Now what I'll do is here, the next one is calculate highest and lowest sales based on product category. Now, based on product categories, we have to calculate the highest and lowest sell. Now, let's get back to our table. So I do data, again, I have to write print because I'm not using Jupyter anymore, data dot head. And I'll tell you how easy it is. Now, because you have done one, you'll find all easy. Now, when I do print head, sorry, it's executing again and again. So right now, when I do head, and it says right now what it's saying is, it's saying that I want to print the analysis report based on highest and lowest sales based on product category. Based on the product category, you want the highest and lowest sales. So now in my table, I have one column as, now that's not visible here, but you'll see in the Jupyter. In this table, you have one column as categories. You see? Now, based on the categories, I have to mention which category, which product sold most and which one sold less. So I have to analyze the sales report based on categories too. Now, just like we did for the date, just by grouping the order month, now I guess it's clear. If you think in your mind, you'll get an idea that here we have to group two columns. One will be category and other one will be sales. So I'll create a new one, sales by category. You see, so simple it is. Just I'm doing this to show you how simple it is. Data dot group by. Again, here, past order, sorry, category is one of the column. And as usual, it will be sales. Again, do sum of it. Once this is done, to reset index. So based on the categories, it will itself figure it out. Like the common cells, which will be the common categories, it will calculate the cells of all of those. It will do sum of all of them. And just straight away, you will have the informations. Now, again, when you're creating this, copy the same thing. See, so simple it is. So easy it is. Like once you have got an idea of one, how easy it becomes for you. Now here I change the name by sales by category. Now In X order, I'll keep the categories. I'll keep the categories, and in Y order, I'll keep the sales. So here I keep the categories. Title, you can keep it as, if you want titles, you can put the titles as category analysis. The same thing I have done, and I have done the same way. Now for the timing, I will comment this because every time it's going to, sorry, I'll just comment it. So let's comment these lines. I'll comment all of these lines. For the timing, I'm just doing this for the timing because I don't want to show this report again and again. And the print value, these two. Save. Now let's run this code for. So let me share with you the screen for this. So in categories, if you go closely, like when I was seeing this data, I didn't figure it out that in categories, you have only three values: furnitures, office supplies, and technologies. Now, out of this 9,000 datas, if you go through this like 9,000 datas, you'll feel like it's just a comedy that out of this much of datas, you have only three categories. So that's strange. That's something neither you are expecting nor me, that only these three categories will be there. But that's real. It's only three categories. And let me check this through the Excel sheet, I guess. So in the Excel sheet, let's check the category section. Furniture, office supply, technologies, furniture, office supply, technologies, furniture, office supply, technologies, furniture, office supplies, technologies. So in this 9,000 data, you have only these three categories only. So you see, when you looked into the data, it looked a very big thing. But now you see you have only three categories: furniture, office supplies, and technologies. And accordingly, it's saying what's the sales of this. So this is the cell, 741K for furnitures, for office, 720K, and for technologies, it's highest 836K. So just you got a category analysis using this same thing, using the same thing. Now from here, you can figure it out how easy and simple it is to basically figure it out, or how this easy it is to analyze the complete report for a category section. So I guess we have done the next one too. Now the third one will be challenge for you. Calculate monthly profit of sales and determine profit monthly. Now this one you can try on your own. I'll do the last one, analyze the sales to profit ratio. So now I'll analyze based on the profit ratio. So the rest you can do. It's like everything, it's fine. Maybe if you try, you can do. You just think, but I'm doing the last one. That's for profit ratio. So profit ratio, now you have to again get back to the Excel sheet and just you have to figure it out how you can get the profit ratio. So for profit ratio, you need few things. Like first, you need from this Excel sheet, you need, let's check from this Excel sheet what you need. So you need this segment, like how much is used by the consumers, you see home office. So basically we'll get an idea from there that how basically the profit ratios we can calculate using these segments. Basically based on the segments, we'll get calculated. Again, we'll get the sales. Sales is always required. We'll do the sum of sales. Now after that, we need to do the sum of profits too. So for this, you have to do the sum of profits as well. Like right now, we have not calculated profit for any section. So we have to calculate the profit for the sections too. Now, if you calculate profit for the monthly segments, so now here you have one more section called as, I guess, in this column, that is profit. So you have this segment too. You have a segment as profit. So you need to do the sum of sales and the sum of profits. So when you do these two things together, you will get an idea. You will get an idea of sales profit. So it's very simple. So here I'm going to do one thing is sales by basically a profit segment. Sales profit segment. That's what we are going to calculate. So again, I do data dot group by, and what I'm trying to group here is first I'm trying to group the segment. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to aggregate, use aggregation, where now here I'm applying multiple columns. So first one sales, I need to do the sum of that. So I'll mention this way. Aggregation, basically, this is how we mention here. So that is for sum. Now the next one, column is profit. Sorry, what's wrong? Oh, I have to define in form of dictionary. So keep this way. Now the next one is profit. And in profit, the value will be like we will do the sum of profit. Okay. So here, first we are grouping by the segment based on sales. That is we are doing the sum of sales. We are doing the sum of profits. And then we reset index. Okay, as usual. Now just you print sales profit segment. You'll get an idea what exactly we are doing here. Okay, fine. I don't need this anymore. Now you see, it says segment sales, consumer sales is this much, profit is this much, corporate sales is this much, and the profit is this much, and home office sale is this much, and the profit is this much. So because it's three value, you can easily figure it out that consumer has the highest profit. But if you want to represent this on graph, you can do on your own like you have already done before. You can get a proper idea of that too. So basically what we are doing is we are trying to calculate the profit ratio. It's like I said, like we have to say what we are doing, analyze sales to profit ratio. So sales to profit ratio, basically the whatever the profit is, we'll print that. And basically that's the profit in every sections. Now, if you want to print this based on sales to ratio, what we are doing here is, remember, this is something new. That's why I'm doing this sales to profit ratio. So sales to profit ratio means out of my sales and out of my profit, I'm just trying to calculate the ratio of this. So how will I do that now? So now I have got sales profit by segment. Now to this itself, to this sales profit by segment here itself, I'm going to say sales to profit ratio. So how I'll calculate the sales to profit ratio? Very simple. For this, we have sales profit segment. This one we have it from before. Sales profit segment. And from this sales profit segment, I will take the sales column and divide it by profit column. So from sales, profit segment, I'll define the profit column, I guess. So what I'm doing is profit P will be in caps. So here to get the ratio, I'm taking the sales column, this one, and I'm taking the profit column, that is this one. These two columns, I just divide this. And when we divide this and we try to print the sales ratio, so while printing, what I will do is in this, I will print two columns, basically. One will be for segment and the other one will be for sales to profit ratio. Now just save this and let's get back to our code. So segment, consumer, corporate, this is the ratio 8.6, 7.6, 7.6. So by this, I get an idea that the sales is highest for the consumer. So this is how we calculate the sales profit ratio. Now code is very simple, very easy. If you have gone through my last videos, if you have skipped any of my last videos, then you may find it a bit difficult. But if you have gone through all of this, then you'll find this project very simple and easy, and you'll get a better idea of how it's looking like. So why I added this project at the last of this tutorial is at least to give you that confidence that see how easy it is if you know everything, if you know these methods, if you know the commonly used steps. So how easy it becomes and how simple it is. It's not that difficult for data analysis. The only thing is you need to know the topics, that's all. So this is our project that for your understanding purpose, this is a real-time thing that I'm doing. Usually in the real-time projects, you'll be doing the same thing. I'll create a separate project in future where just we will do only data analysis, no theory, no description, no explanation, so that if anyone watched that video, if someone who has done this, so they will have a fresh one for the projects too. So I'll do that separately too. Cool. So by this, we come to the end of our tutorial series. I hope the last video was very long. Uh, uh, like this is the last, basically it's very long, but still it's helpful. If you will do in one shot, you will enjoy. If you start to get involving to this, you will enjoy doing it. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial series. Now I'll bring more things related to pandas in future. Just stay tuned and keep subscribing to channel. See you later. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching my videos.